I'm a player, 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 oh, 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 I'm a player. If you see me looking clean cut, matching from head to toe, dipping with a mean strut.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Ghettofabulous Warhammer. This is Battle Report number 7. As usual, 2,500 points. And again, against Elves this time, but a new opponent. Andrew was his name. Hadn't seen him at the store before, so that was nice. We're rolling up scenarios, and of course we got Battle Line or whatever the standard mission is. So nothing too exciting, but sometimes you need the regular battles too. Here's my list, and it's been working pretty well, so no major changes. Got my General, Supreme Sorceress, level 4, with a 5-up ward, Power Stone, and the Lore of Death. She rolled up to 3 sniping, death spells, and Soul Blight for this game. I have my first Master on a Pegasus with a Lance and the Cloak of Twilight. Second Master with on a Pegasus as well, with the Sword of Might, Charm, Shield, and Dawnstone. And the third Master, just on a regular horse. Oh, and the Supreme Sorceress on a horse as well. Probably should have put that on the list there, but they're both on horses. The Master, who's the BSB, also has a Halberd, the Dragon Helm, a Potion of Strength, and the Luckstone. I've got 3 squads of 12 Dark Shards. All of them have standards, and one of them has a standard of Flame, or Flaming Attacks, Eternal Flame, whatever. I've got 6 Shades, another squad of 8 Shades, 4 Bolt Throwers, 2 squads of 10 Warlocks, and 10 Dark Riders, fully equipped with bows, shields, and a standard. My Wood Elf opponent, I didn't get his entire list, but this is pretty close. You should get at least a gist of it. He's got his General, Glade Lord. I think he had the Giant Blade and obviously some other equipment. Level 4 with High Magic. I think those are the spells he got: Drain Magic, Arcade, Unforging, Soul Quench, and Walk Between Worlds. He had level 2 on a horse. I think one of the 2, I assume the 2, had a Dispel Scroll. He had 15 Eternal Guard with full command, 20 Rangers with full command, 10 Glade Guard, 2 squads of 10 Deepwood Scouts, 10 Way Watchers, 2 squads of 5 Glade Riders, 2 individual separate Great Eagles, and 5 War Dancers. I put the little comment at the bottom there. He didn't take True Flight arrows. I think some of his squads, maybe most, may have had a Hagbane. I know at least one squad did, but nothing else really jumped out as being a major factor in the game. Here's a diagram of the table. At the top of the screen there, towards the middle, is the forest he placed. It was a poison glen or whatever, so he gets poison attacks while he's in it. Other than that, the 2 rocks in the middle of the screen are just kind of large, impassable terrain. A couple well, 3 hills and 3 forests, and then his forest for a 4th. From my perspective, well, and going back, I ended up taking the bottom half of the board. I think he may have even won the roll to go first, and he picked the top half. So the next couple of slides will be the bottom. I'm at the bottom of the screen perspective for the next couple of pictures. So here we go. On his right, my left, on the far side there, you can see his Great Eagle, his squad of 10 Glade Guard on the hill, the squad of 20 Rangers, and he's got his level 4 in there. And then the Eternal Guard are in the forest he placed with his General. And then in the middle of his lines, he's got 5 Wild Riders, and his level 2 on the steed is with them. I don't think he had a BSB. May have, but I don't remember seeing on the board or on the list. And this is after infiltrators or scouts. So you can see he's got 10 of his Deepwood Scouts deployed forward in the forest there. This is my center. You can see I've got some crossbowmen there behind the impassable terrain. Squad of 10 warlocks. The gentleman in the forward right corner is my BSB. And just kind of the way things worked out, I felt pretty confident in bunching up my bolt throwers on the hill there. Normally, kind of want to spread him out so he doesn't overrun from one to the next, but I figured my biggest threat was shooting, and if I spread them out, they're just as vulnerable. So there they are. My right flank, and a squad of 12 crossbowmen. The 2 pegmasters behind them, and I kind of bunched up on my right flank, and I'll talk a little bit why, but I was trying to overwhelm on that side. I got 10 warlocks in the front, and then 10 dark riders behind, and the white horse there with the model standing is my level 4. Still trying to find the right model. The Games Workshop ones don't look good, they're old. I haven't found a good sorceress model put on that horse yet, so they're just walking along. You can see one of my squads, my 8 shades, infiltrated forward there. Here's his left, my right. He's got the other eagle up there, which I figured that'd be a good target for the shades. They were just far enough out that if he charged, they could stand and shoot, and I think they would do pretty well against it. They also got the Way Watchers there, which is also a good target for them to take out. And then you can see the Wild Riders again and the War Dancers. And well, for some reason, my picture is a little out of order here, but we're not going to go back. We're going to drive on through. So here's my left flank, 12 crossbowmen in the woods there, which is why his Deepwood Scouts, well, the 2 squads, you can see had to deploy where they were. And in fact, he wanted to go a little further towards the corner with that squad on the far left, but I'd already put my shades down, and he couldn't quite get him in without bunching him up to stay out of 12 inches, so he moved over to there instead. And here's the diagram. So yeah, as you can see, again, I kind of heavily loaded the right side and was a little weaker on the left. And I was going to use my vanguard moves to try to even further weigh my cavalry on the right side and just push up on that flank. So, initial thoughts. This is only my second time playing Wood Elves, and they, at least the first time I played them, were very tough. I didn't know, obviously, because we had closed lists at the beginning, but True Flight arrows are a real problem for me, since they hit me on 3s no matter what, and my guys are kind of weak. So I was very concerned about that. However, since my first and only other game with Wood Elves, I've changed my list significantly. And it's a lot more robust. Instead of little 5-man cavalry units, I've got 10-man squads now, which are much more difficult to destroy with sporadic fire. Also, 2 large squads of warlocks means lots of magic missiles, which are great at killing skirmishers and elf archers in general. So I have some more tools to kill the elf squads, and a 10-man squad of warlocks, even if they lose a couple troops on the way in, can very easily charge and overrun small units of archers. So that's good. I've got a little more melee threat, still mobile, magic missiles. I think I'm in good shape there. Just looking at the enemy army, it looks like the threats are in waves. It's not like a major hit like Chaos that might hit me hard on turn 2 or 3. It's not like some other shooty armies which really will whittle me down starting on turn 1. And again, I'm still mostly thinking my experience with 40k, but as I look at this army, I see a couple shooting squads. They'll kill stuff, but they're not going to wipe anything out. And then on the turn after that, they get 1 turn of shooting, and that's the only thing that's hurting me. On the second turn, Eagles, maybe the Wild Riders, will be in range to hurt me. And then, I assume turn 3, maybe even farther than that, the Rangers and Eternal Guard will get to me. So, as the enemy threats to me are prioritized, that kind of helps me prioritize how I'm going to target my shooting and maneuver. He does have 2 units of Glade Riders. I've never had to deal with ambushing units before, and his army has 2 of them. I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not. It's certainly, and maybe because it's something I've never dealt with before, it certainly was weighing heavily in the back of my mind of what if I overcommit? What if I leave my bolt throwers or something open, or I have to use them to shoot a little squad of 5 light cavalry when there's better targets for them? Yeah, Death has been working well for me on my level 4, and that's why I'm keeping it, obviously. But I don't think sniping his characters isn't my priority at first. I'm planning mostly on focusing on Doom Bolts to try to clear units out, because again, it's very effective. And then once I have a little more control and I'm getting damaged a little less, then I can start focusing on sniping the characters. Plus Death Magic, I have to get kind of close, and he's got that level 2 with Death. I don't remember what spells he rolled up, but that certainly makes it a little more hazardous for my Supreme Sorceress to get close, because yeah, if he gets lucky, she's only got a 5-up ward. She could get nuked fairly easily. And like I said, the general game plan, and yeah, most games I try to hold or be weak on one side and overwhelm on the other. Sacrifice a few units on one flank, and then I have the whole rest of the board to maneuver and harass, whittle my opponent down. So, looking at how things deployed, that was the plan. Vanguard moves. Ideal. Initially, I thought I could move them a little bit further and get them all within range of the BSB. That didn't happen. I still wasn't too concerned about suffering staggering losses in the first turn of his shooting, so I wasn't too worried about that. And here you can see they moved up. Not great, but it's the first step on getting up there and overwhelming the right. And here's my next addition to the Ghettofabulous report. We got the initial thoughts. Now we're going to start talking kind of game plan. I already alluded to it, but on the left, again, just going to hold. And really, with a shootout, 2 squads of crossbowmen and shades versus some archers. From my experience, those archers of his will kill my people, but it'll take turns, and my guys can dish out some pain pretty well too, especially if that squad is out in the open. So I expect I will lose that left flank, but it's not that many points, and I think we have the chance of killing some stuff as well and earning some points back. On the right there, you can see the whole side is going to move up, and I said overrun and overwhelm the right flank. Normally, and if you see my battle reports, I'm not super aggressive. It's not like I'm going to be charging and assaulting and going through his entire line, rolling it up. I'm just going to move forward. I'm going to establish myself on that upper right corner, and then either just shoot or slowly but surely whittle him down. I don't plan on getting all the way across the board. Just shoot, and if he comes in, kind of counter charge or get away, depending on how things work. And then with the bolt throwers, you can see those rocks do kind of disrupt some of my fire lanes, but they're still in a pretty good position, especially the first turn, assuming I get it. They can either help out with the Deepwood Scouts on the left if I don't quite finish that unit off. They can help out with the Way Watchers if I don't quite finish that unit off, or they've got a very clear shot up the middle, if nothing else, to hit the Wild Riders, hit the Rangers, the Eternal Guard, whatever, just start thumping and picking away as those units have to come at me. So that's a general game plan. We'll see how it works. And as a matter of fact, I do get the first turn. So I move my shades over to the left to get a better shot at those scouts. The crossbow squad on the right there wheels, so they can shoot the squad in the open. And the squad in the woods, instead of trying to wheel and shoot at the others, they're just going to hit the guys across from in the woods. And everything on the right kind of swarms forward. The crossbowmen didn't. They were in range of the Way Watchers. So I figured, again, this is another opportunity to plink a few off between the Dark Riders and the Warlocks, and that was probably going to be one of my top Doom Bolt targets, is those Way Watchers, just because I want them out of the way. And once they're killed, then I have the option of shooting the Great Eagle. So I got a lot of targets over there I want to get rid of. Magic comes up 9 dice to 6. And sure enough, in my blurry photo, you can see I got a Doom Bolt off, and I killed 7 of the Way Watchers. So, good start already. I may have cast 2. He may have dispelled the first, and I got the second through. But either way, I got the Doom Bolt through, and that was excellent. In shooting, between the 2 crossbow squads and, I don't remember exactly, but I'm assuming 1 or 2 bolt throwers, I took out 1 squad of scouts on the left there, and I killed 1 scout across from my crossbowman. Yeah, you can see. I took this picture just to show. I had a nice line of sight there, and they had to help out a bit. In the right, between the crossbowmen and the Dark Riders, and again, probably the bolt throwers, managed to take out the Eagle and the rest of the Way Watchers. So there you go. Things are moving well already. I've taken out 3 units, 2 of his ranged ones, so my priority 1 targets of what can hurt me on first turn have been whittled down substantially. On his turn, the Glade Guard on the hill start moving forward. The Rangers move forward quite a bit, along with the Eagle there. His Eternal Guard in the forest back there, actually, I think they either reformed or swift reformed to start heading to his left, my right, to help out with the onslaught I've got going on over there. His Wild Riders, you can see, also moved, I assume, to countercharge me. And in the forest there are his, what I call War Dancers. He had them, I think they were like maybe Treekin or Dryad models, and he had given them 2 weapons and stuff. So they look kind of neat. I'm not sure if that's what they normally look like or not, but I knew what they were, and I knew I was just going to try to shoot them. So I was good. Magic comes up 6 dice to 3, and he gets Walk Between Worlds off. Can't remember if it was a regular or boosted version, but either way, he moves the Rangers up quite a bit. I let it go, or maybe he got it through. I don't remember. Either way, I wasn't too concerned about this spell. Although it does get his guys into combat quicker, I had already, A, written this flank off, and B, that just gets me that much closer to shoot him up, so I wasn't too concerned about that. His Archers do manage to kill 4 of my crossbowmen, and they run. They don't run off the table, though. They would be turned around, but since they rally so often, we usually, just for convenience, have them keep facing forward. So, there you can see War Dancers are reforming. He's kind of setting up a defensive line to stop my right, and he's pushing forward on the left. So, same general plan. Again, establish a defensive kind of position up on the far right there. Again, I don't have an arrow pushing through. They're not going to assault. They're just going to set up and shoot. Because I think I'm doing pretty well on that right flank, I'm going to send a squad of Warlocks over to help out on the left. The more I look at it, and the first turn went really well, I think I have a good shot of winning that flank, especially if I get a little help over there. And unfortunately, with that big boulder in the way, my bolt throwers, which would normally help out quite a bit over there, can't assist. I can't hit anything. So the Warlocks are a good option to help out over there, either with Doom Bolts or setting up for a assault next turn. The crossbowmen at the bottom there rally. I move the scouts a little bit. I move them into the forest so they don't get shot up as much. And the Archer squad by the Rangers, they were actually within his movement range, but I didn't care. I just wanted them to rapid fire and shoot him up. And in fact, I kind of wanted not to stand and shoot. I wanted him, when he did assault me, to just overwhelmingly crush me, so we wouldn't be stuck in combat, and I would get to shoot him on my next turn instead of having him be free on his turn. On the right, you can see on the upper left of the picture there, the squad of Warlocks running off to go help out. The Shades moved forward. I thought between the Dark Riders and the Shades, I could probably kill several of the Wild Riders. Maybe not all of them, but at least enough to make them not really a threat anymore. Second squad of Warlocks just kind of hanging out in the back because I didn't have a place to put them. And you can see the Pig Master's looking kind of weird there. I knew the ambushers could come in on his turn, and I didn't really have any better targets for them, so I just kind of faced them towards my lines, assuming if he popped out over on my side, I could maybe assault him. You can see a better picture. And in fact, the crossbowmen there as well didn't have any targets, so they just reformed to face my rear somewhere. Maybe excessive paranoia for the possibility of 5 or 10 light cavalry coming in, but I don't know. I didn't want to be caught unprepared. Magic comes up 9-5, which is good. However, and I don't exactly remember what the 7 there represents, but I think I threw 3 dice at the at Soul Blight on those Wild Riders, and between the 3, I rolled 2 1s and a 2, so I came up with 4. Added their rank of 3. I don't know, whatever it was. I failed to cast, even though I'm usually pretty generous with my casting. So that ate a bunch of my dice, and he's able to dispel everything else. He may have used his dispel scroll here too. Either way, I got nothing off this turn, despite having a decent advantage at the beginning. Shooting goes pretty well. The Shades take out his eagle, and my crossbowmen kill several of the Rangers. In fact, they might have killed 9 or something. Whatever it was well above average. They rolled very well. And another blurry photo. I think I only killed 2 of the Wild Riders. I don't think I killed any of the range in the War Dancers in the woods there, but killed a couple Wild Riders, which isn't enough to completely hamstring the unit. And here you can see the movement. The Shades weren't completely blocking the Dark Riders from his Wild Riders, so there was the possibility that he could try to charge my Dark Riders, but between stand and shoot and the numbers, and you can see on the diagram I have the BSB going off with the Warlocks. I think the BSB peeled off and was actually with the Dark Riders at that time. There's more units nearby to rally in case of a break test, and a little melee buff in case the Wild Riders charged. So I thought it was a pretty good position there. On bottom 2, his ambushing Glade Riders come in. They're a little up from the edge of the board. That's just so they don't fall off on accident. So don't freak out. His War Dancers charge out from the woods, and actually 3 of them die to stand and shoot fire. So only 2 of them actually make it into combat. And like I said, they were within their movement range here. So no stand and shoot. The Rangers, along with the level 4, plow into my crossbowmen. And his Glade Guard move up off the hill. And the Wild Riders don't charge. They come around, while the Eternal Guard continue marching over to help out on that flank. Magic comes up 9-6. But I don't recall anything significant getting off. Shooting on this side doesn't do anything. Between the being skirmishers, being in the woods, and a little bit of poor rolling, no casualties there. In melee, however, as you can imagine, we may have killed 1 or 2 scouts, but the crossbowmen get annihilated. So half of them are gone. Whereas with the War Dancers, I lose 1 and 2 War Dancers die. So the crossbowmen there in the bottom left, they lose half their number and flee. The Rangers reform to face either the Shades or my other repeater crossbowman squad. And my Shades just stuck there. There was no reason to reform or anything. They were fine. So at the top of 3, new priority. With the Eternal Guard coming up, instead of either holding the upper right or pushing through, I'm going to try to set up an envelopment and just make a soft center and see if I can lure him in and maybe multi-charge, or if nothing else, just shoot and magic him. The circles there, those are my priorities, so I'm going to try to kill all 3 of those. You know, the ones in the lower left, I've got 2 squad of crossbowmen, squad of Shades, the Wild Riders and Wizard, the Shades, the Dark Riders maybe, if I'm going to put them at risk. And then again, the 4 bolt throwers can see everything, so they'll clean up whatever's left behind. The crossbowmen fail to rally and continue to run. The squad that rallied last time walks up into the woods to shoot the Rangers. Again, I'm just trying to kill them as quickly as possible, so maximum shots. If they do survive, however, and charge, at least this time I'll get to stand and shoot. Whereas the Shades there, because the woods are in the way, I don't want to put a negative on my my bolt throwers, so they're going to try to take out the Glade Riders. On the center here, the peg, I'm not so worried about ambushes anymore. I suddenly kind of realized that they're not that big a threat. So I have one face up to help with the potential envelopment, and I have one face more in the center. That way, if I don't kill the Wild Riders, whichever way they go, hopefully one of my peg masters will be able to finish them off. I didn't turn the crossbowman around. There wasn't really a need, and I figured if the ambushers do come on, they'll make a good counter to it. And up here, I move the Shades up so they can get a clean shot at the Wild Riders. I wanted to kill the Wild Riders. They're not that many points, and if he decides to charge them with his Eternal Guard, fine. It just gets the Eternal Guard closer to me to shoot, and I'm not too concerned about it. And you can see I moved the Dark Riders up with my BSB and Sorceress, and the Warlocks have moved up as well. So again, kind of a nice soft C shape, hoping to lure him in. That's what's coming. Magic is 3 dice to 2, which doesn't sound great, but it's good enough for 1 spell. So my Warlocks get Doom Bolt off, and they annihilate that Ranger squad with the level 4. They're not all dead. I think the level 4 and maybe 1 or 2 survived, but whatever. It wasn't going to be enough to survive the shooting. We're able to kill off the ambushers, the Glade Riders that came in, the Wild Riders with the level 2, and I had some shots left over and we planked 1 or 2 of the Eternal Guard. And again, like I said, the Rangers and level 4 are gone as well. So I managed to kill the 3 priority targets, and I've set up on the upper right corner there to deal with the Eternal Guard. Again, either shooting and magic if he sits, or if he starts coming in and committing, trying to overwhelm him in melee. He charges into the Shades. The Shades stand there and take it. I think they may have killed 1 to stand and shoot, but it's not important if they did or didn't. The other group of ambushers come in here. And again, they're a little bit up from the edge of the board, just so they don't fall off. The Eternal Guard easily take care of the Shades, lose a couple in combat, but overrun into my Warlocks. And the Riders here managed to shoot and kill some of my crossbowmen. So there you go. Summary of bottom of 3. And at top of 4. The big empty spot means my crossbowmen that had been running failed to rally and ran some more off the table. Skipping through the shooting and magic, I'm pretty sure I killed the guys on the left, or at least the ambusher squad. But the big takeaway was the melee here. The Dark Riders with the BSB and Sorceress charged in. The Warlocks were already engaged, and then my Peg Master charged on the side here. I can't remember if I had him issue a challenge or if I just had him attack the squad or direct attacks. I don't remember for sure. Oh, well, that's charging. Okay. Now is the magic phase. And I do know I did the magic phase. I'm already doing very well, so I didn't really need this extra help, but to add insult to injury, I have an overwhelmingly powerful magic phase. He has no dispel dice anymore. I'm able to get Soul Blight off twice on his Eternal Guard, so now they're horribly hobbled. And then combat is just brutal. 2 Eternal Guard and his generals survive, and they're stubborn, but at this point my opponent just concedes. He was pretty much done at this point, so he was done, which means a Dark Elf victory. He killed, I had my 1 crossbowman squad run off the board, and he annihilated my squad of shades, my largest squad. It didn't go through and calculate my opponent's losses. But either way, it was a pretty sound victory. So, after action report. The last several battle reports, I haven't made many changes to my list. It's working. It's working well. I like how it. I like everything about it. I like the mobility. I like the increased melee ability. Magic's good. It's got some diversity in it. So I'm pretty pleased with it. If you've seen my battle reports, it's a fairly small player pool locally, not a huge number of diverse armies. So I don't know. I'm curious if my army itself is just really effective. It's just maybe I've melded it to meet my local meta, and I'm going to get crushed if I go to a larger tournament. I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that, which brings me to the next point there. Looking on forums, trying to get an idea of what other army lists are out there. There's a lot of discussion that the MSU mobile avoidance type army is very frustrating for opponents. And I see that certainly in my opponents. I'm not the greatest Warhammer general out there. I've played for many years of 40K, so I'm not a noob to wargaming. But I don't know. I don't want to be that guy. But I do consider myself a competitive player, and I'm looking forward to going to tournaments. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be winning because it's my army and not me. I don't know what the matchups are. I've only played 8 or 9 games. I've lost my 2nd game. And that's, again, I've got an ego. I think I'm pretty good, but I'm not that good. I don't think my opponents are necessarily bad either. So I think I may put together a little almost podcast or just a little discussion thinking about it, because it seems like most of the armies lists I see have big blocks smashing into other big blocks, and the game is who can make the biggest block or the deadliest block to smash. And my list tries to avoid that, which it does. I don't know. I'm just curious if other armies out there have a lot more shooting, a lot more magic missiles, the things that threaten, or maybe just bigger, tougher lists, units, so I can't score points. I've had a couple of very close games, and either luck or whatever has allowed me to pull it out. So I don't know. Just something to think about. And if you look, the bottom point there, what are the things that I'm either very concerned about or things that, well, I think it's mostly just things I'm worried about because I haven't faced the really incredible things like Nagash. I faced the one player had a dragon with a high elf lord on it. That was tough. It took me most of the game. In fact, it took me the entire game. I just got lucky in killing it, but really it ran amok and did whatever it wanted, and it killed whatever it touched. So I don't have the ability to take those targets out. Also, not just big, difficult to kill single targets, but just giant blocks like Skaven. I can kill some stuff pretty quickly through shooting, maybe combined multi-charges, but melee and running people down is really the major killer, and I'm not that good at it. And when you think of a Skaven army of storm banners and things, I don't know if I have the ability to chew through that many models, that many wounds, especially when, again, a storm banner or something hindering me on my major killing abilities. So I don't know. It's while the game itself was very decisive, my game plan went like I wanted, and it was a victory. It's giving me pause, wondering if how I need to look at things. So I don't know. I don't want to say bittersweet, but a point of reflection. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below. Let me know, what do you think? As I put my comment there about comp, I can see where playing 40K, I never played with comp. I didn't like comp, and it has less of a history or heritage in 40K. But in fantasy, it's a lot more common. To in some ways, after playing it for a bit, I can kind of see why. So I don't know. Let me know what you think.